Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Salvation Lake by G.M. Ford, performed by Patrick Lawlor. 1. Red Lopez was a spitter. When Red told a story, it was best to get yourself a lee of something waterproof, lest you end up looking like you'd been run through the elephant car wash.
So we was comin' down Yesler,
Red gushed.
me and George and Ralphie.
Everyone had found cover, except the guy they called Frenchie, who was so tanked he probably thought it was raining inside the East Lake Zoo.
And you know, 'bout halfway down the hill, the Hotel
Cairo there on the corner? Everybody nodded. Thus assured, Red went on.
There's this big old black mutt lying there on the front step, licking his nuts for all he's worth. I mean, just having a party with himself. And George looks over at me and says, "Man, I wish I could do that." And you know what Ralphie says?
He threw a liquid leer around the bar. Having heard the story 3,000 or 4,000 times previously, the cowering crowd was prepared.
Ralphie looks over at George and says, "I don't know, man. Maybe you ought to try to pet him first."
The place came unglued. As they yucked it up, chairs chattered on the wooden floor, backs got slapped and then slapped again. Somebody repeated the punchline, al castrato, and another wave of unbridled merriment tsunamied around the room. This was an easy crowd to amuse. It wasn't lost on them that their alcohol problems had more or less turned them into lepers, a fact which made them somewhat disinclined to make value judgments regarding one another's atrocious behaviors. Something about pots and kettles, I'd always supposed. There were, however, limits to even this well-lubricated amiability, most of which revolved around the pressing need to stay liquored up at all times. You didn't want to be stealing anybody's money, not because they were much into money, but because money was the gateway to booze, which, for them, constituted the very nectar of survival. And you particularly didn't want to be spilling anybody's drink unless you were in a position to immediately replace it. So when Billy Bob Fung lost his balance and belly flopped across the table...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?